Greetings. Today is March 1st, 2011, and I'm over here in Philadelphia at the Eastern State Penitentiary. It's been closed down for many years, and it's still in the winter portion, so not all sections are open. I am going to be taking a tour later on, and hopefully I'll be able to see some things on that tour. I did bring my tripod with me, had to pay an extra fee to use the tripod, but I think it's going to be well worth it, and maybe it won't be too crowded. But while waiting for the tour, there's one cell block open here, and we're going to walk down here all the way down, and we're going to look in some of the old cells. And also, this is the place where at one time Al Capone was kept here. And I think we're going to see his cell further down. So let's get started before the official tour starts, and we'll take a walk around and see here. So, okay, let's go. Come on.
John Hadlin's original plan called for 250 cells, each with its own exercise yard, arranged in 7 single-story wings. The centrally placed guard and the design accommodating surveillance revealed the influence of the ideas of the English philosopher Jeremy Bentham. Bentham had extended utilitarian principles to
Okay, it's about 1:45. The tour is going to start in a couple minutes, so shortly we're going to be heading outside and we're going to take the tour. So let's move on.
A few things I have to say to every tour. No smoking. You're allowed to take pictures, but we do have to stick together. So when it's time to move on, just move along with. And then also, just be kind to this building. It's old. So it was 1829 it opened, shut down in 1971, and then it was abandoned. So the reason it kind of looks crumbling apart is because it was for like 20 plus years. No one was taking care of it. But yeah. The trees growing out from the top of this thing. This is the first prison ever where the idea was, to help solve crime, if you give someone a craft or a trade, after their time, they don't go back to a life of crime. At the same time, everyone was supposed to be in their cell their whole sentence. Lucky ones were coming out to work in the greenhouse, so we said the outside looks like a castle. The architect wanted the inside looked like a cathedral. Today, with all the paint peeling stuff, maybe a little less inspiring, but that was the idea. A lot of that penitence idea was like religiously motivated. Like they really wanted to make you feel penitent, like look at your crime and say, I do not want to be that person anymore. Criminal academy, it's because everyone's packed in together. So what's the exact opposite of that? Separation, yeah, isolation. That's what made this prison different. This was the humane prison. So at first they take a meal, then they take your yard time. After that, they get real. They put you in the iron gag. Think of this, it's like a horse's bit. It's got a square piece of metal to go into the mouth. That's connected with chains to mitts the hands are fastened to. The more you struggle, the more you choke yourself. And that was only used a few times before it did result in the death of an inmate. So. It became known as the radial plan. This took off. We're talking like 300 prisons all around the world. Every continent but Antarctica has a prison model after Eastern State Home. I mean, we're talking influential. And you can see why. Like, not just surveillance, ventilation, checkpoint to move people through. I mean, this is a good plan.
What are you going to do with this? They just want to keep it for tours or don't tear it down?
You know what? The plan was for a while tear it down. But our goal now as a historic site, we're never going to fix it. It's never going to look like it was when it was in use. I will leave you guys off his cell. You will not miss it. It was not here for very long. This was his first time in prison. It was just 8 months of a 1-year sentence. But yeah, I'll tell you all about it once we get to his cell. 1836, it's complete. You kind of see the architect got better at building as he went. This thing is longer, it's wider, it's completely lit. It's also 2 floors high. Like for the amount of money the state was putting in here, they wanted as many cells as they could get. But the architect didn't like it. I mean, because he had to compromise. You guys know what these cells on the top deck are missing? More indoor time. Conditions up here were worse. That's why they were turned into the first punishment cells. A few of these cells, they called them the dark cells. Skylight covered over. You all the furniture you see in here is mostly built by inmates too. Not like the very earliest. This is from like the 1940s. We don't need all these little private backyards, right? They're all transformed and stuff. They knock the building down, make the ball field. They had a problem every time a home run was hit. But, well, maybe not what you're expecting. The problem was not that baseballs were leaked, because they were coming back in. Stuff full of notes and stuff. Well, notes, yeah. What else do you want? Drugs, razor blades. There was one year in the 50s, over 1,000 baseballs were tossed in here. So not that many were leaked. There's a little hole on the right side of the cell. That's where archaeologists tried to find the access point to a tunnel escape that happened here in 1945. The escape was just the Alfred Fleischer Memorial Synagogue. We like showing it off because it's this is one of the few places we restored rather than just stabilized. You can see this was 2004. Used to be a little different, right? The amount of effort that went in here was like something else. This is, you can see, and really the decision of why we restored this had a lot to do. We were going to lose some real key details if we didn't act quick. So, yeah, this is a synagogue, 1924, first synagogue ever built in an American prison. There is a chapel on the other side of the prison, but it's rare to see a synagogue in a prison just because most facilities today, it's like one all-purpose. All right, so yeah, this is cell block 7. This is the block we just walked through. We're in what used to be those private backyards. But you can see, like, it had dividers, they knocked them down, and the spaces, like I mentioned, after the separate system, they don't need little yards, they need big spaces like the ball field. All the little yards, though, they're not just thrown away, they transformed them. Some became long dining halls, others became, like the 50s and 60s, they had a handle on the overcrowding and violence. You know, they wanted to get it back to some of the earliest ideas of reform. It was too little, too late. We're talking, it was still expensive. This prison was obsolete, right? You don't run a modern prison in something that was built in 1829. Also, something happened here in 1961. They were like, we have to shut this down. There was the worst riot in the history. I mean, this was without a doubt the bloodiest event. Nick Capone?
Hello? Hey, well, I'm the Eastern State.
Hey, David, could you open up the alley door for us?
Yeah, they call you.
When he shows up, suddenly baseball and football teams get new uniforms, the band gets brand new instruments. Who's playing system? Oh, Frank Klein, his bodyguard. Actually was here on a charge, had similarly, was found in that same theater that same night with a handgun, carrying a concealed deadly weapon. But normally these cells were for prison trustees. Like you serve your time politely and well, get a little extra privilege, but nothing like luxuries, man. But yeah, still, I mean, it's...
I spent thousands of dollars trying to get his stuff out of jail.
Say again? Oh yeah, yeah. There's a theory he wanted to be here. This was shortly after the St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah, he wanted people trying to kill him.
Oh, without a doubt. Not only the law was trying to get him on something.
I'm gonna get home sale, man.
I have to get back.
You got a radio, 2 lamps, a table, a chair.
Get back on channel.
On the wall. You got this cell fixed up a little bit, you know.
Oh, yeah.